go and do a short video on reverse bleeding, and it'll show you all the aspects of what to go through, little tricks to go through. It's actually a very good way of bleeding your brakes, especially if you're doing what's called like a dry, if you have a dry system. So if you've rebuilt the master cylinder, if you've rebuilt the calipers, you've got a completely dry system, it is actually the recommended way to get your system re-going again. There's a couple of little tricks that you need to do, so pay attention as we go through, and you'll see the differences. Now this works on front brakes, and obviously you'd have to do each side if you've got a twin caliper setup. Also works just as well for clutches, so if you have a hydraulic clutch. And again, it's actually really good for hydraulic clutches, because sometimes you'll find that the lines actually take quite a zigzaggy route through your system. So reverse bleeding with clutches is a real key for an easy bleed on that. And then what we're going to do is we'll also do the rear. Now we'll just use the rear as an example because it's the simplest. And what we'll do is we're going to start by draining all of the old fluid out, because again, it's a really great way of just draining the system without any mess, and it's really easy. So let's get started. Right, so where we're going to start is all the stuff that you're going to need to go and do your reverse bleed. So if we just go through a couple of points here. So, I mean, on my ZRX here, you do need a Phillips screwdriver just to remove the side panel. You have to lift the tank up, and we need that so you've got access to the rear master cylinder reservoir cup. So you need any tools that you need to get to your reservoir cups. For your bleed nipple, you're going to either want a 10mm or 8mm spanner. So you just want to make sure you have that. You want to have your new fresh brake fluid, and you also want to have a container for your old fluid. So something to drain off all the waste fluid into. Now, brake fluid is extremely corrosive to paintwork, to plastics, and you really don't want to get it on anything. And if you're a bit of a wuss like me, wash your hands, so I always use gloves. And in that sort of line, you always want to make sure that you've got a couple of rags. They're always good to have around, and also some paper towel. So again, I would recommend having all of these. You might not need them, and hopefully you won't, but it's always good to have them around close hand. The other thing that I would also recommend is just get yourself one of these bowls. You get these at Walmart, they're $1.98, and really for this type of thing, they're completely invaluable. So what I'd also like to do is just go through, now this is our reverse bleeding kit. Actually, this is a new one. Now what we have here, it's a 100ml syringe, and then 4 foot of Tygon hose. Now this Tygon hose is specific for brake fluid, so absolutely fine with brake fluid. It's also so it's clear, so you can see the fluid going in, you can see the air bubbles coming out, so it's very visual, so you can see your progress and you know how you stand. So again, this is important for that. But also very importantly, what we've done is we've got this, so it's actually specifically going to fit over your bleed nipples. So you can just push it onto your bleed nipple, and it will work perfectly. So again, this is the Tygon, and American made. It's pretty much the best that you can get, and that's what we use. And we provide 4 foot of that with each little kit that we sell. One of the other aspects I'd like to show you is our syringe that we get here. And you can see 100ml, but also it has this handy little loop. And we can just hook that onto the levers, because what you always want to try and do is keep a nice straight line coming all the way up to the syringe so that the air travels up it. Again, you can hook that onto the foot peg, onto the gear lever, and so you can always keep it nice and upright so that the air bubbles are always coming up. Get going, what I need to do is then take off the seat and side cover to give me access to that reservoir cup just in there. So give me a moment and I'll get back to you. So now that we've got the seat off, got the tank lifted, because you have to take the tank up a little bit just so you can get the side panel off, we now have access to the reservoir cup. There we go, and yes, you can see fairly gungy looking fluid in there. Now what we do is we actually give a 4-foot length of hose, because obviously you've got all sorts of different bikes, like the big enduros with the long forks, motocross, etc. But ideally what you want to have is the shortest piece of hose as possible. So with the 4-foot, I've just cut off 10 inches here, which is just going to work great for the rear caliper. For the front, yeah, you can keep the 3-foot so you can hook it up onto the levers and stuff. But ideally, try and keep it fluid, because it means that you have less fluid in the system. It's easier to bleed through, less waste and stuff like that. So that's what we want to do. Now, okay, so first off, hose, wedge it on there. Okay. Spanner on, and then with the hose, make sure you've got the plunger all the way pushed down, and then you'll get the hose pushed all the way onto the bleed nipple. So if you haven't got that pushed on fully, what it can do, if you're pulling it at an angle, it can roll off. So you want to get that fully on. Do the bleed nipple. You can actually already see a bit of fluid coming out, and then suction. I'm not sure if you can see that. You can see the fluid just beginning to come out. And there we go, coming into the system there. So what you're doing is you're just creating a constant vacuum, nice and pressure, and then what you'll do is you'll start to hear it sucking through the reservoir cup. So just pull the old fluid out. It's filling up. You just hear it hissing now. So you see the air bubbles. This is why it's great having it so it's clear and that it fits directly onto the bleed nipple. Now what this will be doing is taking all the fluid here out of the reservoir cup, out of the master cylinder. What you still will find, if you're going to strip your caliper out, is that you still will have some fluid still remaining in the caliper, so do expect that. Okay. go. It's sucked down pretty much to the top. There's no more in there. Get that closed off. Okay, last little bit of vacuum. And what's worth doing is get your old bottle. Yeah. There we go. Again, you want just a little touch of vacuum as you release this, and then into the old. And there we have it. Not a drop spill. Okay, so now what we want to do is get into tip number one, is putting some PTFE tape around the bleed nipple thread, because what you'll find is if you're either sucking it out or pushing it into the system, it will try and work its way around the threads. So, you know, I must admit, I have already done this, but this is the process that you would do. You'd have it out. Let's just pull this off. I'll show you, because I must admit, I've already done mine. So you can sort of see here, hopefully, you can see how I have the PTFE tape, and it's only on the threads, not near the nipple, just like I say, around the threads. And what that does is make a nice seal, because if you're sucking it or blowing it, what will happen is the fluid or air will try and get around the threads. It's just a little bit of PTFE tape just around the thread, and then pop that in. Now what I do is I normally tighten it all the way up. There we go. And then crack it off about 3/4 of a turn. Okay. And put your spanner on the ready. Okay. Next step, your fresh, clean brake fluid. Get that ready. Okay. Now, again, with the short line, making sure that your plunger is all the way in. You want to suck up some fresh fluid. And I would say normally for like a rear brake system, you're going to want about 40 milliliters. For the fronts, it's normally going to be a little bit more, about 50 to 60, because they've got longer length on the hoses. That should be more than enough. I'm just going to put in 40. Okay, and then take that hose out and straight onto the bleed nipple. And then make sure you get it all the way on. There we go. Okay. Put it in all the way on. Bleed nipples open, and then again you just put pressure on the system. And what's great is you can just watch the markers and it go through. See, 40 down about 35, and like I say, just use your thumb and feed it in there. And what you'll find is you'll get to a point and we'll start going through. I'll try and show it to you, but you can actually see the air coming out of the system in the reservoir cup. And we're down to about 20, so we put half of it in there, and the fluid's coming up. Not got many bubbles come out. Right, now on the reservoir cup, what you want to try and do is take it almost to the top. So just keep putting it in, and you want to get it just almost to the top. We've got 10 millilitres still left, and there we go. Okay, now I'll just try and show you where we're at. Okay, so as we can see, I've got it filled virtually to the top, not quite to the top, just virtually to the top. But just at this point, this is what you need to do, is just pull back that last bit. And if we focus in just down here, we should see some air come out. Do a bit of, see, now we'll get into this a bit more. But yeah, you always get some air trapped into the system there. Okay, and then we'll close that off. And then we'll just set it up for the final part, which is probably the most important part. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to set the reverse bleed and get all the lines up, and we're going to do a traditional bleed. All hydraulic brake systems were designed to be bled through in this direction, exiting out of the caliper. So if you try and push the fluid in, you will find that you'll get traps, air traps stuck in there. And if we check, we'll see, we haven't got much thing. But what we'll do is now we're going to do it in a traditional way, but we just tie up the syringe, get it mounted up a little bit higher. There we go. And you can see just here where we've got the line in a vertical direction. This is important because it'll have the air coming up. Just pop that there. Okay, and then what we do, put the cap back on that. There we go. And then what we're going to do is the old-fashioned, so system's locked, and then we put a little bit of pressure, we'll push through, but what we want to do is keep an eye on just down here and watch the air bubbles coming out. So down, we push and close. See how the air bubbles are coming up? And then so we repeat this until we pretty much get halfway down through on the reservoir cup. So again, push, open up the bleeder, you see the air coming out, close bleeder, and just repeat. Push. Can we see all the air coming out up here? Excellent. See, it's beginning to thin out now. Now it's going more solid. We're getting a lot less air. Make sure we keep an eye on the reservoir. It's not going to empty out. And now you can actually feel we're building up with brake pressure again. A couple more stops, and I think we're going to be about there. See? No more air. Top up a little bit more fluid. I'm going to raise this up to the level now. Okay. Feed that through until it comes down to that upper level on the reservoir. You see, we've got no more air coming out. Perfect. Job done. Height's great on that upper limit. Reservoir cap back on. And what we want to do is make sure that we've got the old fluid bottle. Vacuum, excess fluid. So, hopefully you found the video informative and helpful. If not, always give us a call. You can visit us at BrakeCrafters.com, and that's where we have the BrakeCrafters reverse bleeding kit. You can also search BrakeCrafters reverse bleeding kit on either eBay or Amazon, and that will bring it up for you. And if you've got any questions, like I say, please do feel free to give us a call at BrakeCrafters. Thank you very much.